On Shakura's Plateau, we have a Protoss vs Zerg. Spawning in the top left 10 o'clock position, in the red trunks, we have our red Protoss Squide. Squiddy. I think we're going to roll Squiddy. In the top right position, the blue trunks, our Zerg player, Eiril. Sounds like he's saying evil, but he's Korean. Maybe. Or the late Kim Jong-il. Very Ronery. I'm very Eiril. It's a terrible joke. Okay. So we're on Shakura's Plateau. We've seen this map already. The difference in this map is that they're close by air. So if I was Zerg, I would be utilizing, or be going for some Spire play. The Protoss should be utilizing or looking for Warp Prism kind of play to kind of take advantage of the positions that we have. So we see a pylon on the base of the ramp of the low ground for Squide, so we're likely going to see a Forge Fast expand. We still see Eiril droning up, getting harassed a little bit by this probe. Doing a job of chasing it away. And scouting in, and Eiril not doing any kind of decision on his tech quite yet. It looks like he took that injured drone. It looks like he's about to expand with it. Maybe. If he can get away with it, Squide taking out that drone. So, there's an evolution chamber somewhere for Squide, but I can't. Very interesting from Squide. He did a hatch, immediately canceled it, and then placed down Evolution Chamber to prevent Squide from being able to get its expansion. It is so interesting what players are doing now to be able to prevent their opponent from being able to utilize the Forge Fast expand. So, Squide getting a gas first, and getting that gateway down on the low ground. Now, this will eventually die, as it's slowly dying as it's off creep, but the fact that it costs 75 minerals and it's going to delay Squide's expansion for so long is super important. It'll actually delay it far longer than the pylon will, if nothing's attacking it. So, we see a spawning pool almost done. We see some gas coming from Eiril, or Eiril. And a roach warren on the way as well. Now, I like that Squide is consistently scouting. Messing up my talking. He's consistently scouting, trying to get a beat of what's going on with his opponent. Getting that forge down and actually walling in right there. Warping the Zealot and getting that cybernetics core. It's really interesting. I wonder how properly Squide is going to respond to this. Now, he's got gas really early. He's already banked up to about 130 gas, and it's even going to be about another 45 seconds before he can utilize any of it. So I wonder how he's going to decide to run with it based on that. So he's got a forge down. He's banking about 500 and or he's banking about 550 minerals. Getting the fast +1, so I'll definitely give it to him. He's definitely getting the +1 research even before the cybernetics score is done. We're still on one base for Eiril. And one gas. We see a couple roaches sneaking out. Chrono boosting the Stalker and the cybernetics core. Squide not utilizing his Zealot, just having him chill there. Just chilling. Pro taking the Zelnaga Watchtower. And Eiril decides he's going to do this on one base. He's not going to get a second base anytime soon, it looks like. Some additional roaches coming out. We've got one more on the way to do an even 7. And those guys are on move. And he should have gotten vision of that, of those roaches coming out. Yep, he did. So he knows that at least 4, if not more, roaches are on the way. And the broodlings right there also did actual physical damage to the zealots. So very nicely done by Eiril. I definitely have to give him that. Naturally expanding at the 3rd too. So very crafty player from our Zerg player. 2 cannons warping in. It might not be enough. 2 stalkers and a zealot against 6 roaches right now. That stalker's getting chased, and with a little bit of micro from Eiril, it's looking like he's going to keep these roaches alive. Taking out one of those cannons. He's got most of them actually firing on this cannon, so looks like Squide's in a lot of trouble. He's only got 2 stalkers. His warp gate is just now done. He can warp in those additional stalkers, and just as the warping is done, variable time +1 is done. So now the stalkers he's going to be able to warp in, are going to be able to do additional damage against these roaches. So he might be able to deflect this. Doing a good job splitting those roaches or splitting those stalkers. He utilizes the probes to actually hold on, so barely deflecting it by the skin of his teeth. Now, Eiril still has 7 more roaches. He's actually about 18 food ahead of his opponent. But they're pretty even on workers. You've got 22 drones, or 23 workers for Squide and 21 for Eiril. So, very interesting early game mechanics. You got a pylon block, which is still there. You had an evolution chamber block, which turned into broodlings, which attacked the zealot, which weakened one of his final attacking units. And he's warping in some stalkers, and those +1 stalkers are going to do extra damage against all these roaches. Squide doing a good job of controlling his units, trying to take his weaker units and pull them back. These roaches are coming in, flanking from the side, so Squide is in a little bit of trouble right here, losing some of his stalkers, but able to exchange pretty well. Focus firing. Will he lose that? So going into it, Eiril has killed about 7 workers. Squide has killed more units, so we see Squide get a little bit bold here and decides to push forward with his 4 stalkers. These drones and these roaches come in, and being able to kind of deflect it. 2 more gateways coming down from Squide. Eiril's going really, really low tech. He's got 2 gas. He's not doing anything with... he's just building roaches with the gas that he's producing. He's not climbed up into any additional tech yet, which is alright. He just needs to make sure he has a good bead. Squide actually supply blocking Eiril with that Overlord, but quite a few of his stalkers have taken a lot of hull damage. But he's got 3 more right there, so we've got 10 stalkers versus 10 roaches. But I definitely have to give the advantage to Squide because he's got the +1. Some exchanges going on. Eiril needs to be able to take a next step, so he needs to get speed wings, or he needs to upgrade Lair to increase his roach tech, because with every exchange, Squide is actually coming farther and farther ahead. So 7 more roaches on the way. They're equal on workers. We go into the income tab, and Eiril is actually slightly behind on the gas. See Eiril pull drones. We see Stalker still streaming in from Squide, and it looks like Squide is still kind of holding position. These Overlords are caught with the same production rally as these roaches, and they're starting to get picked off, so he needs to be really careful about that. So as we go into Eiril's game tab and look at his APM, he's going at about 150 actions per minute, trying to chase some of these other things that are going on, in addition to making sure that he can produce and be able to hold off this attack. So Squide, again, taking an advantage and actually pushing Eiril all the way back into his main. And with that, decides that that's all to it. He decides to tap out. Good game, well played. So good game to Eiril. I definitely want to give the uniqueness of delaying his expansion. You know, he put down an evolution chamber using a hatchery trick, and as we learned in some of the Day 9 dailies, that broodlings are fucking overpowered. They were almost able to kill a zealot outright without chasing it. And then fully delaying that expansion even more was just awesome. Squide was resilient. He did stick around with it. His +1 and his work gate kicked in right at the exact same time. So that was a really, really good setup, a really, really good timing to line all that stuff up. And Squide with the blink stock or with the +1 stalkers was able to utilize or was able to punish Eiril's just constant normal roaches. So good game to Squide.